Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that I want to make because this is something that, and I touched on this in my last video, but I think I'm really going to talk about it more in this video. This is going to be kind of a review / story time / just in general my thoughts, opinions, and reaction. So I'm going to be giving a little bit of backstory to this. So in terms of the band Oasis, so off-topic thing, if you don't know me, I've been a Beatles fan for a really long time. I've always been a Beatles fan, like, since I was, like, 12, 13. I've just been obsessed with them. I've had all the posters, all the stuff. I became a really huge fan, last year. And that's something that's been important to me, and I'm sort of having a late blooming phase in terms of music taste because of some stuff that I'm not going to go into, but, didn't really have access to a lot of music, or a lot of certain kinds of music for a long time. But now that I have a little bit of more free reign over my taste, I guess I could say, I've been kind of catching up on music in general, especially more rock stuff. And I'm very new to the 90s scene. I've been telling you about this as well in my last video, how the 90s scene is really new to me because my dad never really introduced me to the 90s like he did with the 70s or 80s. And speaking of my 90s scene, I forgot to mention this in the last video. I am also listening to Nirvana. I've finally been listening to Nirvana, which is pretty good, so I'll get into that. But anyway, that's not really important to this video. If I want to make a video about that album, that will be another video. Nevermind will be another video if I want to make it. So anyway, this is going to be specifically about What's the Story, Morning Glory. Before I get into this, again, giving me a little bit backstory into this band. So basically, I remember, I had heard the name maybe a couple times, and I had subconsciously heard Wonderwall because I'm pretty sure everybody is born with Wonderwall etched into their brain. So, I knew the song. I hadn't placed it or connected it to anything. I just knew the song. Like, if somebody had said Wonderwall, I would have been like, yeah, that thing, like. So, because I'm pretty sure every single human being is born with DNA that says they know Wonderwall, like, I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So, anyway, so not very important, and, so, going back to this, I watched Child in the Shadows, which I've mentioned multiple times. If you don't watch him, please go watch him, but this video, I actually disagree with him on this, which, I disagree with Todd a lot, obviously, because he's an amazing critic. Anyway, was a bit harsh on this, though. I was doing a review of the Be Here Now album by Oasis, which I'm not going to go into my opinion on that album. That's for another video as well. I could do a whole video on that album. Yeah. So, I have to say that I just remember hearing clips of the songs because he was explaining how they were bad and how they were a departure from the earlier songs. Of course, played Wonderwall, which I knew, and kept talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that band. And it was talking about how they had conquered the world and all this crazy stuff. I mean, it was nonsense to me at the time. In the 90s, I was like, wow, there was a rock band like that recently? That was kind of my attitude, because at this point, I was like, there hadn't been anything like that since, like, the 70s. I was just kind of like, wait, there was a rock band like that recently? I was just kind of like, huh? What? So, anyway, I had to look them... before I looked them up, so I watched the video, and I remember... Actually, I heard a couple of the songs in the video, and I decided to look them up because I'm like, even though he was saying the songs weren't good, I was like, this sounds good to me. I like the sound of this, so I decided to look them up. And these were songs from the Be Here Now album, so especially Do You Know What I Mean, which is the name of the song, by the way. I'm not asking you if you know what I mean. But, yes. So anyway, I was like, I kind of like this band, and he was talking about how they were compared to the Beatles, and there were Beatles references and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I should better check this band out. And it was around the same time I don't remember which happened first, actually, but Wonderwall came up on my dad's radio, which, I know this is a really cliche, oh my god, Wonderwall, like, everybody hates Wonderwall because they're like, it's so overplayed, whatever, like, I like, okay, Wonderwall is a good song, but that's not the point. The point is that, so Wonderwall, came on my dad's station, and he was listening to 90s stuff, and I asked him what it was, and he's like, it's Wonderwall, I don't know the band or whatever. I checked it, I'm like, okay, and I was like, that band sounds familiar, and then I remember seeing the video, and at some point I made the connection, okay, Wonderwall is this band that sounds like this, is this other band I like, because I liked their other songs. So anyway, what I did at that point was I went over to the Wikipedia article, I read some about the band, and then I went to the YouTube page, and I saw a bunch of their videos. I watched Wonderwall, you know what I mean, all around the world, like some of the ones I'd already kind of seen, and then I kind of branched off from there and did a bunch of others, like Champagne Supernova, just kind of a bunch of the ones I found. Supersonic towards the end. I know, yeah, Don't Look Back in Anger, Stop Crying Your Heart Out, I don't remember all of the songs that came up, yeah, Don't Go Away, like, I don't remember all the songs that came up from their discography, but I just remember I just had a YouTube mix going, and I was watching some of theirs, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting, I kind of like this a lot. I was like, this is a good, you know, I was like, I like this. So, at that point, I was, like, really getting into it, and I listened to, like, a lot of their songs on YouTube, just to get, like, a broad scope from different albums and stuff. I was reading comments and stuff to get an idea of the fandom and stuff, and, I was kind of doing that, so, anyway, at that point, I Googled which album to start with, and I got a toss-up between Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory. And before I get into this, really quick, I should just put a disclaimer. I should probably look up the song on YouTube, but yeah, because the last song on Definitely Maybe is E on iTunes Apple, which means explicit, which is usually just language, but I have a filter, so yeah, and I'm not going to get into the reasons for that right now. The reasons for my filter, I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, so I can't really listen to the entire album, really, but, I have listened to, like, the rest of it, it's really good, but, at this point. But anyway, so that was one of the reasons I'm like, I should probably start with Morning Glory, and two, that was the one that just seemed highly recommended. Everyone's talking about Morning Glory, and of course it had songs I recognized on it, so at that point, so I was just kind of like, should I start there? So I did, and I put it on. I think I put it on headphones because I hadn't heard it before. I didn't want to blare it in case it was, like, really inappropriate or something. Which, meh. I'm just gonna say meh on that. It's really good, though. So, anyway, I started listening. There's no swearing. I don't think. So, anyway, I started listening to it, and I remember just the little build-up with Hello was just, like, such a really interesting... And this is also where I'm going to get into my first impressions / review, because these are the things that I'm going to be geeking about. So anyway, I was not really expecting it, because it just kind of started kind of chill, and then it, like, went into the high-key crazy stuff, and I was like, what? And then, of course, Roll With It, and Wonderwall, and Don't Look Back in Anger Now. That song for me, because it was heavily inspired by John Lennon, and if you know me, I freaking love John Lennon. So I'd already seen the video for that song, I'd already heard that song. But there's that one, and it was just really emotional. I was like, wow, this is really emotional. And then Hey Now, which is a good song. And of course, the one I'm forgetting the name of because I have Don't Go Away in my head, that's not it. Oh, Some Might Say That's It. And then Cast No Shadow. And we'll have to come back to that one before I get into it. So kind of when I was just listening initially, my initial response, by the time I got towards the end of the album, I wasn't really paying that much attention because I was doing something else, and I remember I didn't even pay that much attention to the title track. It's weird to put the title track toward the back of the album, but it's actually one of my favorites now. But going back into, and of course Champagne Supernova is fantastic, but talking about I think my dad would like She's Electric. I have to play it for him. Going back into Cast No Shadow especially. So I'm a very strange person, and it's something that's a little bit personal, and I don't know how comfortable I am talking about it, but I'm very weird when it comes to emotions and like expressing emotions. So the only time I will like full out have a blow up and like legit cry like crazy is when I have like crazy anxiety, panic attack, and I have to be like angry / out of control / yelling / kind of in a rage / out of control state in order to really cry. That's generally how it works for me. If I'm feeling really emotional about something, I will get like shaky. Like, it sounds weird, but I will like, it's hard to explain, but like I don't actually cry, but it's like I'm like, it's really hard to explain it. Why am I'm making this like as emo as possible. I just play with my hair when I'm anxious about things I'm talking about. I'll be like, I was like shaking with emotion but not actually crying, which is really weird. But that's how I react to things. I don't usually do anything. I usually just sit tight, like during movies. I just kind of sit tight. I don't usually react that much. Bohemian Rhapsody was really good. I wanted to cry during that movie, but I didn't. A lot of movies I wanted to cry during, but I didn't. But in terms of songs, I've never actually cried while listening to a song. Well, unless I was crying anyway, while I started listening to a song and it calmed me down. But like a song has never made me cry, if you understand. But I have had that reaction to like A Day in the Life by the Beatles, and the kind of emotional, you know. So that really caught me off guard when I was having. I'll just say I was having a physical reaction to Cast No Shadow, and that really caught me off guard, because I don't usually get much emotional responses out of music. Like, I love music, and like I do get an emotional response, like it makes me feel things, but I don't usually have any sort of physical whatever. So I was just like, wow, this is like so deep. I don't know why that song in particular just did that to me, but it did. So I'm not really sure, but there's that. So overall, first of all, I freaking love the album. It's a great album. Check it out if you haven't. If you're at all a fan of like rock music or 90s music or Britpop or any of that genre, just check out the album. Or if you've never heard that type of music, check it out too. So yeah, I highly recommend it. And in terms of like a full review, there's nothing really for me to say other than I highly recommend it. There aren't really any songs I dislike. It's just one of those. It's one of those albums for me that just, my initial reaction was so crazy for me that I would have that reaction to it, that I don't really know what to say about it other than, and everybody's going to react differently to different things, so if you don't have that sort of emotional response, that's perfectly fine. If you hate the music, that's perfectly fine. Everybody has different opinions and different responses, but that was just how it affected me personally, so needless to say, I was mind blown. And I've been listening to Oasis a lot, and it's really good. So yeah, anyway, and I'm trying to get into the rest of the 90s scene as well, so I'll get back to you all on that, or on any bands I will listen to. Thank you, and goodbye.